Bismillah Rahman Ibrahim. Dear students of 10C, Assalamu alaikum. I am your teacher Muhammad Ilyas. Dear students of LPS, this is our 10th interaction regarding chemistry for Cambridge. Dear students, today our session is from the reactivity series according to CI syllabus. It is topic number 9.2. And according to your book, Practical Chemistry, a course for O-level, volume 1, page number 25 to 26, and this is experiment number 7. The objectives for today's session is to understand the practical procedure and solve the questions given in your practical book. And these objectives can be achieved by understanding the order of reactivity from a given set of experimental results and to investigate the reactivity of metals with non-oxidizing acids like hydrochloric acid and dilute sulfuric acid. Dear students, before going to achieve these objectives, I'd just like to revise what is reactivity. According to the definition, reactivity describes how likely an element is to form bonds with other elements, and reactivity of element is determined by its valence electrons. To understand it in a better way, we have to discuss this slide once again, and this is the reactivity of metals. And the reactivity of metals is described as how easily an atom loses an electron. For instance, potassium is extremely reactive because it has only one valence electron. So it is very easy to lose it to form a positive ion. Whereas the copper is weakly reactive metal because it has more valence electrons, so it is very difficult for it to become a positive ion. And by following this principle, you can understand this reactivity series. You can see at the bottom the least reactive metals are there, and as we move up towards the top, the reactivity of the metals increases. For example, the platinum, gold, silver, copper, hydrogen, lead, tin, iron, zinc, carbon, aluminum, magnesium, calcium, sodium, and potassium. These are the metals which are included in this reactivity series, but except the hydrogen and the carbon. This is hydrogen and carbon is just to compare the reactivity of these metals with the carbon and hydrogen. So understanding this reactivity series, after understanding this reactivity series, now we are moving towards our experiment, and this is experiment number 7 according to your book. Dear students, we have to investigate the reactivity of metals with non-oxidizing acids. And for this purpose, we need apparatus, test tubes, racks, matchbox. And the materials which we need are as follows. We need dilute hydrochloric acid, magnesium ribbon, zinc powder, iron fillings, lead, and copper. Now we are moving next. The theory of this experiment is based on this point that metals which are higher up in the reactivity series react with non-oxidizing acids like hydrochloric acid and dilute sulfuric acid to give hydrogen. Lead and metals which are below hydrogen in the reactivity series have no reaction with these acids. This is the theory of this experiment. Now we are moving towards the procedure. Dear students of LPS, to carry out the procedure, we have to follow these things. Carrying out the following test on the given metals, record your observations and deductions in the table below. This table is given in your book, practical book. What we have to do, the first step, place dilute hydrochloric acid or sulfuric acid into a test tube, then add a small piece of metal. For example, in the first test, we will add the magnesium to the acid, warm if necessary. Note the color and smell of any gas evolved. Test the gas with the moist litmus paper and with a lighted splint. Then we have to repeat the same test with the zinc, and we have to observe our observations and deductions. We have to note down the deductions, and then we have to repeat the same test one with the iron, repeat the test one with the lead, and then repeat the test one with the copper. And then we have to note down our observations and deductions in this table, which is given in your book. So this is the procedure which we are going to follow. Dear students, one thing I would love to add up, that when we add the metals in acids, it always produces the hydrogen gas, and to test the hydrogen gas we have to get closer a lighted splint near to the mouth of the test tube, so that if a pop sound is produced, then the hydrogen is confirmed. As you can see, this diagrammatic representation, a pop sound is produced. Now we are focusing towards the reaction of dilute acid with magnesium. We can set the apparatus in two ways. We just use simply the test tube. You can see a dilute acid in the test tube. When we add the magnesium strip, the bubbles of gas rising to the surface. Another way we can do this experiment by using all these apparatus like the conical flask, delivery tube, measuring cylinder, and trough. During this reaction experiment, we have to observe how speedily the bubbles of the gas are coming out, and this will help us to understand the reactivity of these metals with the acids. Secondly, we have to react the dilute hydrochloric acid with the zinc, and this is a pictorial representation how zinc is reacting with the HCl. You can see these bubbles which are coming out during this reaction when we add the dilute HCl with zinc. And remember, dear students of LPS, we have to perform the confirmatory test of the gas which is coming out from this reaction with the help of the litmus paper and with the lighted splint. And if a pop sound is produced, it means that hydrogen is present. Now we are focusing towards the reaction of dilute HCl with the iron. You can see that when we place the hydrochloric acid in a test tube and then add the piece of iron fillings in it, the gas is coming out, and we have to perform the test, litmus paper test and the lighted splint test, to test the gas which is coming out from this reaction. And we also have to note down the bubbles, number of bubbles which are coming out, and how speedily they are coming out from this reaction. This is the reaction of dilute HCl with lead. You can see very small bubbles are produced when we add the lead in hydrochloric acid. So it means the reaction is not going to proceed vigorously. Very slow reaction is going on. Now you can see when we put the copper in HCl, no reaction is going on. You can see from this that the reaction is not going on. So this is copper which is very less reactive with the HCl, dilute HCl. Dear student, this is the summary of the reactions. You can see I have this sodium as well over here instead of the magnesium. Uh, how much gas is produced when we add the sodium in HCl? So that is showing that very speedy reaction is going on of the sodium with HCl. Even the gas which is coming out burns. And now you can see the lead, very small number of bubbles are produced. Magnesium, you can see the number of bubbles coming out. Iron, less than the magnesium but more than the lead. And if we see the copper, no bubble is being produced in this reaction. So from these test tubes you can easily understand which metal is more reactive and which is less reactive and which is non-reactive with the HCl. And with the help of this experiment we can formulate this table which is going to show the reaction of metals with the dilute acids. You can see copper is having no reaction, lead very slow reaction, iron, zinc they have moderate reaction, and then when we're moving up, the aluminium, magnesium, sodium and potassium, the reactivity of the metals is increasing with the HCl. On the basis of this we can formulate this table, and this table is matching with the reactivity series which I have discussed with you earlier. After having this understanding, now dear students, we are moving towards another experiment, and that is experiment 8, and which is from your book Practical Chemistry, a course for O level, volume 1, page number 27 to 28. And this is also from the reactivity series and topic number 9.2 according to CI syllabus. Dear students of LPS, our objectives for this experiment is to understand the practical procedure and solve the questions given in the practical book. And for this purpose, we have to understand the order of reactivity from a given set of experimental results and to prepare a hydrogen balloon. Dear students of LPS, now we are moving towards the achievement of these objectives, and for this purpose we have to prepare a hydrogen balloon. This is experiment number 8 according to your book, and for this experiment we need the apparatus. We need a funnel, a Bunsen burner and a meter rule. The materials which are required for this experiment are as follows. We need aluminium foil, aerated water, example the Coca-Cola bottle, sodium hydroxide solution, wet towel, balloons, and we need a thread. The procedure which we have to follow to carry out this experiment, we have to use a funnel. We are going to use a funnel for pouring sodium hydroxide solution into a aerated bottle to a depth of about 5 centimeter. Then we have to tear the aluminum foil into 10 small pieces and put these in a bottle. Wrap the bottle with the wet towel. Fix the balloon to the mouth of the bottle, and when the balloon is substantially inflated with the hydrogen gas, tie it with the thread. Tie the balloon to one end of a meter rule and hold it in the flame of a Bunsen burner. So this is a procedure which we have to follow to carry out this experiment. Dear students of LPS, we can arrange this apparatus according to this diagram. You can see a conical flask, a concentrated solution of sodium potassium hydroxide, aluminium pellets, narrow mouth flask, a ring stand, and a rubber balloon. We can arrange all these apparatus according to this diagram. And then we will observe that hydrogen gas is produced when the reaction is going on, and this hydrogen gas will help us to inflate the rubber balloon. In this way we can prepare a hydrogen balloon. So dear students, here are a few words which I have selected for you, the spelling test. You have to memorize the spelling of these words and then write on your notebooks and then send to your respective group. These words are as follows: the Bunsen burner, aerated water, inflated, non-oxidizing, investigate, necessary, reductions, observations, zinc pellets, and concentrated. Now a test I have selected for you. You have to describe how the reactivity series help us to understand the reactivities of a metal. Question number 2, write an equation for the reactions of the metals with the acid. And you have to write the answers in your test notebooks and then send to your respective groups for evaluation. Dear students of LPS, this is your homework. You have to discuss in detail the reaction of metals with the dilute acid, and the answer of this question you will find on your book, chapter number 12, page number 272. You have to write the answer on your notebooks and then send to your respective groups for checking. Thank you very much, dear students of LPS, for staying with me. And one more request to you, please stay at home and stay safe. Allah Hafiz.